welcome to the Illumination Cinema Movie Podcast. I'm Tyler.
I'm Chris.
I'm Beth.
And today, we're continuing Cartoon Network Week with the Powerpuff Girls.
Let's roll!
So for this, we watched a couple episodes from the first season, and we watched the movie. So I guess to start it off like we usually do, what was your first episode, Chris?
I don't know what the first episode was. It was just kind of on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it could have been like Fuzzy Lumpkins or whatever, honestly, in one of the episodes, but who knows?
Yeah.
Actually, what I want to do is I wish I could go back in time, get me from the past, then ask myself, hey, what do you think about these episodes? What was this thing about?
Yeah.
That's way fresher in younger me's mind than older, crotchier me's mind.
Mm-hmm. How about you?
For me, it was kind of I don't know about anyone else as a girl, but it was like a girly thing. I guess. My mom would get me a Powerpuff Girl backpack or something. So that was kind of the reason why I watched the show. I'd say the earliest episode I could remember was probably the one with the Rowdy Rough Boys, but it was probably a different one.
That was the most memorable first one for you, you'd say?
Probably,
okay.
Yeah.
I thought actually, I'd say Rowdy Rough Boys is definitely one of the most memorable ones.
Yeah, because we were watching that and we noticed that before when we were pressing play or whatever, it's oh, there's not a second short along with it. It's just a full episode. So it was the big deal one. They actually were evenly matched or whatever.
That probably is what helped out a lot, because it was when they're half episodes, it's much harder to remember sometimes what was this one? What was this one in this one? Where was this at? When they're just the full 22 minutes or whatever, that's much easier to remember. So again, Courage was really easy to remember because
yeah. Well, because those were emotionally scarring.
I remember I would call it the Powerpuff Girls instead of the Powerpuff.
Nice. You know what? I can understand that. No problem.
Yeah.
That's fine.
For me, I also do not remember. Like you were saying earlier, and I talked about on our Disney podcast, this was another, the liberal agenda trying to turn me gay. So, I rented a couple videotapes of it, and I don't remember what all episodes I saw. I'd see it occasionally on TV, but the ones we watched, I had vague memories of, and the ones, we watched, we had to watch an episode with him, we had to watch the Rowdy Rough Boys episode, and there was also the Amoeba Boys one in there as well.
Which we'd forgotten about, basically. We're
who
were they?
But, okay, so if we just want to transition right into favorite episode, that was my favorite one. It was a really funny idea for a villain. There's been the loser villain before or whatever, but just the way it was handled, these guys are so inept that it was played very well for comedy.
Sure.
That and when everyone turns sick, they the professors had this grotesque face, and
his hair was all messed up.
Yeah, and his eyes were swollen. I love
we've
that.
all been there.
Yeah. So favorite episode.
That's probably my favorite one too, because of the professor.
Yeah.
But also, it's just so awkward and funny.
Yeah.
Not sure about favorite episode, but I remember at least in the Rowdy Rough Boys episode, my favorite parts is definitely in there when they cut off the poor dog's tail. He just pulls it off. Puppy dog tail. I was oh god. The very when they explode wherever into the little different parts. There's a whole bunch of puppy dog tails all of a sudden.
Yeah, there's 3 of them.
It's
there's only one.
Originally, yep. Chemical X adds more horribly torn off tails.
And while granted, I'm going off of the 2 episodes we watched because I don't remember much of the other ones, but in terms of favorite character, mine's definitely got to be Mojo Jojo.
Me too.
Yeah.
I've had it, your fuzzy mouth.
I haven't really thought about a favorite character.
Fuzzy Lumpkins.
Yeah, she's a Fuzzy Lumpkins kind of person.
I always like Miss Keene because she's so cute. She's so cute.
Did you know that the one in the reboot has breast cancer?
Yeah. I knew that.
What?
They in the reboot, like she doesn't, like, she's like flat chested.
Oh, I didn't know.
No, she doesn't literally have breast cancer.
Yeah, I knew that, but I didn't know. Like,
I'll be honest with
that in between like all the meme jokes that they put in there, like that would be a weird mixture.
I wasn't sure, honestly. Like, well, I guess I could have done that, I suppose.
I honestly
more awareness for breast cancer. That's good. It's all good things.
Honestly, I haven't seen any of the reboot. I've only heard things.
Hey, you gotta avoid certain.
Yeah, I decided against watching it once I heard certain things. I had a lot of both you and I were talking before it came out. This is getting way off topic, but like you and I were talking about it ahead of time, and we were like, man, yeah, this could be a really cool. Like Cartoon Network's been kind of, like, from what I've heard at least and everything I had seen, like it'd been heading in a better direction, and we were like, you know what, yeah, this could be really cool. Kind of like, you know. Then we like learned, no one from the original is involved. Yeah. Like they're just trying to get that money.
The Powerpuff Girls movie, now on DVD and video. These girls are super strong, super fast, and now the DVD extras are super too.
Just in general, I mean, like I liked every single short we watched for the series.
Yeah, I felt like it was dragging. It felt like it was actually it was really well paced out. Mm-hmm. So
very well directed. Gendy Tartakovsky was one of the.
Oh, that's right.
He and Craig McCracken both directed all the episodes we watched. Yeah. So yeah, great stuff. So the movie came out, you know, just to set up for anyone out there in YouTube land. This, like, Powerpuff Girls is like their biggest moneymaker. Like, it was the one that sold toys. It was, you know, like, gaining a bunch of attention for them. So they make a movie. That's the one they're going to make the first movie out of. The Cartoon Network Studios' first theatrical film.
The one thing that actually makes much sense, yeah.
Yeah, you know, it makes perfect sense. They put it out there, flops.
Yeah. Because,
like we were saying, like, no little boy's going to go to the theater to see it. Yeah. So
they'd rather secretly go in their parents' room, like, watch it before, like, see it.
Well, like you just wait until, you know, it's going to be on television, so you just wait until then. And
I was just hiding away from everybody else, like, to see me go into those things. It's super embarrassing or whatever.
Yeah, and that's very unfortunate. Did you see the movie in theaters? Or
no.
That was.
I never.
that was. You were a little young then. That being said, like, I understand why, like even beyond the it's a girly movie thing, that's stupid. Like, that doesn't matter. In terms of, like, the presentation of everything, I understand why it didn't do well, because it was like, you know, it's like the art direction's good, but the animation's really cheap. The humor in it's really bad and punny. Like, you know, I don't want to say a bunch of bad things, because, like, you know, there were several jokes we laughed at. You know, there were lots of shots that looked really cool and cinematic. But, like, I don't know. If I had to rate the movie, it would probably be, like, a 5.5.
I was thinking of just, like, the detail in, what's it called? Townsville was, you know, definitely way there.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking about the Ed, Edd n Eddy movie. In comparison, as far as, like, detail-wise, there's, like, way more detail in these things.
And, I mean, you know, like, Ed, Edd n Eddy's never been about, like, the detail.
Oh, sure, no, but, like, he notices things or whatever. They have a higher budget.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what the Ed, Edd n Eddy budget was for that thing.
It was probably the budget of 3 episodes.
Yeah, I don't know. It looked great for 3 episodes worth of budget. But, like, Powerpuff Girls movie, I can tell they definitely, like, really try to pay attention to, like, the backgrounds were. Like, the volcano looked fantastic. Like, the inside of Mojo Jojo's lair looked great.
Yeah.
But you look at, like, the episodes, you're kind of like, oh, it's like, that's really, really nice and cheap.
Well, I mean, like, you know, I would say the animation's better in the series. Like, there's obviously, like, a difference. It's a lot cleaner in the movie.
Yeah.
But, like, just in terms of movement, like, the series is way better.
The other thing that was interesting about the animations for the characters reference was that in the TV show it looked a little bit dirtier.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's cell animation.
Yeah.
You know, the movie was digital, but anyway, you got.
I really love the sequence when they're like playing tag.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably my favorite part about the whole movie. But yeah, my least favorite part about the movie was like when all the monkeys started talking. I was like, oh my god, I'm so annoyed.
Because it kept going. You're just like, could you just...
That's when the puns really picked up. There was a trade-off. Because, like, in the third act, I think it got better, like, in terms of, like, pacing and staying on point. Because, like, the first 2 acts are, like, a collection of scenes. The humor got a lot more punny in the second half of it. But a big problem for the whole movie for me is like the characters felt like shells of themselves. Like the Powerpuff Girls are the main characters of the movie for like the second half. The professor is definitely the main character of the first half.
Yeah.
But like, you know, these are like the 3 leads, and if I just watched the movie, I couldn't tell you anything about them besides Bubbles cries throughout pretty much the entire thing. Like that's all she does throughout the entire movie.
Mm. I think they kind of like expanded on like the basics of their.
Yeah, I think they were just cardboard cutouts of themselves.
They stretched it out a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, in terms of like even just the him episode, you get a lot more character out of Bubbles. She's not just crying the entire time. Like I seriously can, like, I think any scene where Bubbles has like any sort of dialogue, it ends with her crying. Yeah. Like it bugged me every single time it happened. I also just think like, I don't know if you just kind of, it's a thing where you just kind of get so used to playing the character that you become, like you're just kind of doing an impression of the character you're playing. Mm. But like, I feel like Tara Strong's voice acting was way better in the earlier, because like it just got more whiny and high pitched in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Could have just been just direction.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. You never know, but because I mean, like it's another thing we were talking about with like Ed, and Eddie, where like, you know, Ed kind of got simplified a lot more. Like he was always dumb, but like he got simplified as the series went on.
Right.
Into kind of like, you know, this is what Ed is, so just play him that way. So yeah, it could sort of be that type of thing as well.
Yeah. You know what character I did really like though? Was Mojo Jojo.
Yeah, of course.
The entire time he was great.
He's the highlight of the movie.
Like he actually has like an evolution in there that actually happens to him. Like there's actually an arc that happens with him. Like
it's a little bit rushed. Like the first part of the arc is pretty rushed. Like, but you get the idea for the most part. Like I don't know, because you know I already knew pretty much everything about like I thought this showed like everything about that. There was apparently an episode you were talking about.
Yeah, there's an episode that actually shows like them discovering that Mojo Jojo was the monkey.
Yeah, and I think I guess I got the two confused. Yeah. But like, you know, I don't know if
they're both origin things.
I'm thinking about like the parents who are taking the kids to the movie. Like we were talking about this with like the, you know, Digimon movie or whatever, where like the parents are just like, you know, taking the flask out and like they just like hate being there and are just completely lost. Would anyone understand anything that's happening in this movie if they had not seen the show?
I'm sure they would get it. It'd be fine.
It's broad strokes, I guess. Like sort of like it's not as.
It's also an hour-long movie too.
Yeah,
so it's like right. Things are like just compressed down more than they probably should be, and then things are stretched out when they shouldn't be.
Sure.
Like,
it was really lacking in the story department. I think that's its biggest fault.
What was it about the writers? Like how many they had on this thing?
There were like maybe 5 or 6.
I think there were 6. Yeah.
Well, because like that's it's weird for a normal movie, but like when you're just when you're talking about, you know, like an animated movie, like it's 6 writers / storyboard artists.
Yeah.
And Powerpuff Girls has always been a show that, and you know, several of the other ones were as well. Like Dexter was another one. Where like they're very board driven. They're basically like, you know, like a Miyazaki film where like the storyboards are kind of just done first.
Yeah.
So I think like that's the explanation, but it definitely feels like it was written by 6 people.
Yeah, and I remember seeing at least Lauren Foss' name and David Kraken on there as writers.
I think Paul Rudish was on there. A couple other like people who like worked on Powerpuff Girls and Dexter like throughout their entire runs.
Yeah. Actually, that is interesting. I wonder like how many writers they actually brought in from the series that they maybe like ever overdid it or not.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be like playing to some pace.
It's all speculation.
Yeah, pretty much. Without actually being able to see the storyboards, you're pretty much like
yeah,
to make a guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have the one of the only other things I really have on it is like they're talking about like, you know, it's like the don't use your powers kind of thing, like just kind of that story that we've seen a few times, but you know, whatever.
Right. When power comes with great responsibility.
Yeah. So they're not using them. They're using like the way they approached using them at the end though. It really felt like, yeah, let's use violence to solve our problems.
And actually, I was just about to mention that. Really quick, there's this one episode where like there's this evil clown villain. It's like a black and white clown, and it's taking away all the town's color, and it makes them all mute and black and white. And they have no life in them, and so there's like singing in it or something, and the Powerpuff Girls like sing and put the color back to everyone, and then the clown's just like, "Oh, I'm good now. I'm colorful. I just want to be good," and then they just fucking beat the shit out of them. And I just like they do that. I feel like. Quite a lot.
I feel like, yeah, you can like this is a time when you could definitely get away with that, whereas like you couldn't probably do that now.
I remember like there's like an episode where they go to jail, they break out of jail, they defeat the villain or whatever, and they're like, well, you broke out of jail, it's illegal, you gotta go back in jail again. And so like I remember like as a kid I'm thinking like, oh, would that actually happen?
Well, like it's funny how
I was 8, by the way.
Yeah,
defend myself.
It's funny how I've seen this brought up before. I think I might have seen this episode, like the Batman versus Superman and like Age of Ultron. I think I haven't seen either of the movies. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like they deal with sort of the repercussions of like, you know, the citywide destruction that happens like during these big battles or whatever. Apparently, there's an episode of the Powerpuff Girls where like they destroy, like, you know, so much property damage to Townsville, like they kick them out or something, and then like they leave Townsville for some reason. I think they move to like a city, and like they wreck a bridge or something, and they're like, you have to work that off, basically.
I remember like there was an episode where like there's like acid rain was happening.
Oh man.
It was really weird. The buildings didn't really melt. I remember like everybody's clothes were melting. It was like,
I was thinking about that during the movie.
It's
where,
gonna be a little racy.
Yeah. I was thinking about that during the movie when they go into the volcano. I was like, did they have like clothes that are resistant to the volcano? Good.
Well, their clothes are magical powered ones,
okay,
so
yeah,
it's fine.
good.
It's like
Superman. They were actually, you know what? They were born with them, so
you know what? It's like Superman's clothing. It's like it's super powered.
Yeah.
Somehow Martha Kent sewed it together. Don't worry about it.
Was there like a lot of flashing lights in this episode? Or not episode, movie, in the movie?
There might have been. Yeah, there were. Yeah, there were a few scenes like that.
There's like, I forgot what it was about, but there's actually like a band episode of the Powerpuff Girls.
It was like one of the last ones.
Yeah, because there's so many flashing lights.
Mm-hmm.
But there's flashing lights in the movie. So
That's fascinating that there's... there's like, you know, like shows like there's like the band episodes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think it was like one of the last ones, and like, you know, they just had like a lot of, and like, you know, there's obviously like epilepsy and whatnot, and there's a few things. I like, you have to wonder like what is the exact amount, like what is the exact amount of flashing that you can have, because like, you know, the movie worked fine, but like I remember like our room was just like lighting up with when we were watching it because of all the flashing in it. Any final thoughts on Powerpuff Girls?
I think I said just about all I need to say.
Yeah, there wasn't. I don't know. I didn't watch it a lot as a kid, so I didn't have as much to say about it.
Right.
I mean, what would you give like a Jamie rating for this?
For a Jamie rating, I'd give it a 7.
7?
6.
6.5.
I thought you were gonna say 5.
I'm the most average person here.
Well, that's it for today.
Yeah.
We'll see you tomorrow with The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Thanks, Powerpuff Girls.
No prob. We're big fans of old school.
You girls are developing into quite the superheroes.
Someday we'll be as developed as you.
Ow!